we just need to get some things right. There are facts we have to get right, and we need to avoid some scenarios if we really want our relationship to work. There are relevant questions that you need to ask. This is what I mean. There are relevant questions that partners, male and female, need to ask one another if they truly want relationship to work. One of the reasons why we have many marriage breaking today is because both partners refuse to ask the necessary question. I was going through Facebook, I think a few days ago, and I came across a marriage that crashes after 120 days. It's so painful when you spend the last of your saving on a wedding ceremony that you so call marriage, and after 120 days, such marriage crashes. It got to the extent that even the bride, I mean the wife, was saying that she was the one who spent everything when it comes to that marriage, and the marriage didn't last for more than 120 days. You could see the pain in that story. So for you to have spent your time, spend your work, spend yourself, and at the end of the day, for just 120 days, you lose everything. So what am I saying this? The point I'm trying to bring out from this is that for intending couples, there are relevant questions that they have to ask one another if truly they want the relationship to lead to marriage, and if truly they want the marriage to last longer. Let me give an instance. There are several questions. I met a man on Facebook called Mutuefe. I don't know if I get the right pronunciation to the name. This man, in one of his books, gave out, I think, almost 27 questions or more than that, that couples or intending couples need to ask one another before they venture into the so-called marriage. And I picked some of the questions. There are some questions in those questions that might look so funny, but they were very important. For instance, who is going to be responsible for discipline in the home? If you're going to imagine, do we have to discuss about that? Do we have to talk about that? You are the father, you are the head of the house. We believe you are the one that's supposed to take this duty, this. So, but there are things we overlook, and they are very, very, very important when it comes to marriage. Who is going to be in charge of discipline? Who is going to be in charge of paying dues? Who is going to be in charge of settling bills and all sorts of things? How are you going to be? Are you going to be taking care of me only? I mean, the lady have to ask the guy, are you going to be taking care of me only, or you are as well going to take care of my family members? How are you going to relate with my family members? Will you see my brothers as your brothers, my sisters as your sisters? There are a lot of things like that. Okay, who is going to prepare dinner? You see that question coming from that. Why do we need to ask ourselves who is going to be preparing dinner? It might come to a scenario where even the wife gets so tired, and the guy, I mean the brother, the Mr. Man, the head of the house, has to come in and stand in position. But if such situations have not been discussed before going into marriage, there is going to be a problem. When you now ask him all of a sudden to come and fill the gap in the kitchen, then he will tell you it is none of my responsibility. It is not part of my responsibility to stand in the gap for you in the kitchen. So there are many things you need to talk about before you venture into marriage. This is not a relationship class, but this is just a fact that we have to discuss with ourselves. And more notes is coming on this. Just stay tuned. Follow my page, and you get a lot to hear about relevant things that you have to discuss when it comes to marriage. God bless you.